Welcome to the series finale of For the Record. I'm your host, Loudmouth Luke, and today we are taking a look at my favorite album as of late. For the season finale last semester, I looked at my favorite album of all time, Green Day's American Idiot. And while in hindsight, I think I should have made that the series finale, today we're taking a look at my favorite album as of late, A Day to Remember's 2013 release, Common Courtesy. I've talked about A Day to Remember a couple of times on the show since they're my current favorite band and all, so I'll keep my thoughts on the band here brief. I might sound like a bit of a broken record here, but bear with me. I love this band. I love their mix of pop, punk, and metal, and no matter what mood I'm in, their music is always so much fun to listen to. Aside from their last two albums, which I have mixed opinions on to say the least, I think that their discography from a quality perspective is pretty solid. And this album for me, anyways, is their last great project. An end of a great 4-album run. This is also in a way kind of a victory lap for their lawsuit with their label at the time, Victory Records. According to Long and Robinson, the band filed a lawsuit with the label in 2011 due to breach of contract. From what I gathered, the contract A Day to Remember signed said that they needed 5 albums to be on the label, and the band claimed that they were withholding royalties. And about 5 years of a legal battle, an Illinois jury decided that the band has fulfilled this contract not only through studio albums but also re-releases and live albums. The band won $4 million in compensation from royalties and full ownership of their music's composition. So, before fully looking into the case, I thought that this case ended shortly before this album's release, but that wasn't until a few years later, although with that being said, I do think a couple of tracks on this album could possibly be about victory. With all that being said, we are right back at it again. This is A Day to Remember's Common Courtesy. The opening track of the album, City of Ocala. It's a fantastic start. This is probably one of my favorite openers to any album, ever. This track is filled with so much energy and epic elements, and it sets up most of the themes of the album. Like I mentioned in the introduction, in a way, this album's biggest theme is being a victory lap, and especially being a victory lap for their career. The track acting as a reflection of how they started and what their hometown was like growing up. And man, that ending is so epic. And it transitions into one of the band's best songs. Right back at it again. I love this song. It's probably one of my all-time favorites. In a way, it kind of expands on almost everything City of Ocala did. It's another track that reflects on the early years, but in contrast to just the band members growing up, this one's more about the band's early career.
Started out in the spring of 2003, never went to school, nobody talked to me, except to tell me all the things I couldn't do. Don't wanna hear about it. Got with my guys, packed into all our cars, and all the nearest scenes in every local bar. Played a show at night till it made me sad. Last home with no getting back up plan, and everyone we knew that we couldn't stand. Said if you can't make it here, you won't make it there. Don't wanna hear about it. Spend most of our time sleeping on hardwood floors. People said be rude and idiots. All we play a show at night till it all made sense.
And overall, it's just a fun song. It was actually the first song by A Day to Remember I remember really liking. I heard it in some alternative mashup, and then I seeked it out in a playlist, and I loved it. Also, I can't talk about this song without mentioning the outro.
What'd you think?
That was awesome. Leave the bitch, please.
You like the bitch?
I've liked the bitch on the fucking homestead.
Although this does play a part in one of my biggest critiques of the album is that the little soundbite outros can be a bit too much. It's not bad here by any means, but it's an issue on some of the other tracks, but we'll get to that later. Either way, I think it's a fantastic song, and up next is one of ADTR's best heavy songs.
Start it.
Track number 3, Sometimes You're the Hammer, Sometimes You're the Nail. Another great track. So far, the first 2 songs on the album lean more on the pop punk side, but this one's on the more heavier metalcore adjacent side. And while I am more of a pop punk guy, I do love heavy songs like this. That awesome chuggy riff and that weird little pinch harmonic thing in the song scratch my brain in a certain way I can't describe. Lyrically, this song seems to be about confronting fear and, in a way, kind of accepting your fear and realizing that you're not alone. Further emphasized by the bridge in the song, which, by the way, is super awesome.
I reserve my right to feel uncomfortable, reserve my right to be afraid. I make mistakes and I am humbled every step of the way. I want to be a better person, I want to know the master plan. Cast your stones, cast your judgment, you don't make me who I am. I reserve my right to feel uncomfortable, reserve my right to be afraid.
I also really like the placement of said bridge, since this song is heavy almost throughout its entirety and then it slows down. Almost like when you're like angry and then when you realize that you're just using it as a deflection of sadness and pain, you kind of slow down and you're just like, wow, you know? And that's definitely a theme that I really relate to. It's overall a banger with a theme that hits me really hard, and up next is another fantastic track. Track number 4, Dead and Buried. Once again, another heavy track and another banger. This is one of my favorite heavy ADTR tracks. I used to bang my head when listening to it, but for the show I paid a little more attention to the lyrics. Similarly to the previous track, it has a theme of reflection, mainly coming from wondering how their legacy will be once they're gone, especially in regards to their families.
Dear mother, I can see this place around my neck. I'm reflecting on these past few years, it's been trying to forget. I'm regretting all these times, been at the world away. Will the children say, when I'm dead and buried, dead and buried, dead and buried, dead and buried, dead and buried.
And also, that breakdown is awesome. Once again, another great track, and up next is another favorite of mine. Track number 5, Best of Me. We take a bit of a break from the heaviness this band is known for with a more pop-punk alternative-based instrumental on this song. But the lyrics are really interesting since I think that this track could be about Victory Records. Although that might not be the case. I just think with the context of the lawsuit, I see this song in a different way, especially with the line, "I can't believe you got the best of me. I can't believe I trusted every word you said." I think that can be interpreted as them saying that we put our best work out on your label and you exploited us and mistreated us. And either way, I think it's a great track. And up next is a change of pace for the album, but it's still incredible. Up next is I'm Already Gone, and while it's not one I seek out often, I do love it. It's definitely a departure in sound from the previous songs. It's more acoustic based, but man, it sounds great, and it almost acts as kind of like a breather, so to speak, for the album. It continues the themes of reflection that most of the album has, but more how much they've impacted not only their community, but their fans all around the world.
She said, it's all you've ever known. And I'm already gone. I'm already something to someone that I don't know. When will I know? And I'm around making rounds on every side of town.
And how this is kind of surprising to them since they don't really know themselves, but also how touring makes returning home more fulfilling. It's honestly kind of a beautiful song in that way. It's another great song, and up next we're disrespecting our surroundings with another banger. Track number 7, Violence, or Enough is Enough. And this is probably the best heavy song on the album. It's also probably just in my top 10 A Day to Remember songs. It's that good. Lyrically, I think this is another song that could be about Victory Records. The track overall has kind of this like, oh, you want to fight dirty, we can fight dirty kind of vibe. Especially in the breakdown, which rips, by the way.
You only get one chance, and that's what you want. What's the world gonna say when I call your bluff, punk? Bow your
I know I sound like a broken record so far, but it's another great track, and up next is another one I really enjoy. Track number 8, Life at 11. I really like this one. Instrumentally, this song is very upbeat and it's super fun to listen to, although the lyrics kind of subvert the vibes in the instrumental. It seems to be about that feeling of internal insecurity and self-doubt, especially from the line, "I'm a slave to all these voices in my head," which is something I really, really relate to. I do really like this song, but I don't think it's as great as everything before it, so let's see what's up next. Track number 9, I Surrender. And once again, I do really like it, but I don't feel like it hits as hard as the first half of the album, at least so far. I do like the instrumental, it's really vibey and not as like in your face as a lot of the album, it's a nice change of pace. Now, this song kind of has a double meaning for me. I think this could be about victory, or it could just be like a regular breakup song. I think it just all kind of depends on how you listen to it. Either way, I think it's a really good track, and up next we return to the heaviness that this band is known for. Track number 10, Life Lessons Learned the Hard Way. There's nothing really that interesting about this song, it just goes hard, especially in that breakdown.
Everyone knows your face, nothing say. You live your life as a f***ing target.
Once again, it's another banger, and up next is one of the album's highlights. Track number 11, End of Me. And while I mentioned I don't love the middle part of this album as much as the beginning, this track is fantastic. It is so dramatic. I love it. And man, it just has this epic feeling. I think that this song could also be about Victory Records and how they treated A Day to Remember, especially in the chorus where they're like, you'll be the end of me, I can't do this and that.
You know me all too well, and I can't suppress the memory. You're gone and I can tell that I've lost more than you'll ever see. Don't say that it's not fair, that you're not the person you wanna be. So you'll be the end of me.
And how like they just essentially drained them of their creativity and turned their passion into profit. And also, that bridge is awesome. It's a great song, and up next is a pretty fantastic one as well. Track number 12, The Document Speaks for Itself. Man, this song is awesome. I think this track is probably the most direct diss at Victory, although like most of the other songs, I think it could be interpreted either way. Also, another epic breakdown.
Now, respect!
Although I will say, I think that this song does have that soundbite issue I talked about earlier.
And
That's taking forever.
oh god.
It's a fucking heavy email.
It normally doesn't bother me since it's typically pretty short, but I feel like this one goes on for a little bit longer than it should, but even then, it's not too bad. Either way, I think it's a great track, and up next is technically the last song of the album. Track 13, I Remember. Like I mentioned previously, this is technically the conclusion of the album. What I mean by that is that on the vinyl of this album, the next 3 songs are considered bonus tracks, although on like Spotify and stuff, there's no like deluxe edition or anything of the sort, so I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll just count it as the last track of the album for now. But with that being said, in regard to the themes of the album, I do consider the last 3 tracks kind of an epilogue of sorts, but we'll get to them later. Regardless, I think this song is a solid enough conclusion. It wraps up the themes of nostalgia, talking about how much touring is kind of a blessing and kind of a curse. The band have experienced so much, and no matter how much they tour and gain fans, they're still the same boys from Ocala, Florida. It's a great conclusion to the album, although do we really need the guys talking for 4 minutes?
There's another show? Alright, let's go play that too. And we literally
I remember being stuck in the van, almost running out of gas on the highway whenever it was 12 hours.
Oh my god, he like froze. Yeah, 12 hours in the van.
And then
frozen.
someone was driving.
It wasn't on, no air conditioning.
Someone was driving, and they were like, "We can't move." I was like, "Just get out of the way."
It's really unnecessary, as funny as their conversation is. Either way, I think it's another really good track, so let's talk about these bonus tracks. Up next is Leave All the Lights On, and it's pretty good. It expands on the themes of the band's friends and family not really understanding the touring or musician lifestyle, but although this portrays some of the negative aspects of their new life, since both the band and their families have kind of emotionally detached from each other, but the band members are hoping that the families still care when they come back around, leaving the lights on, if you will. It's another good track, and up next is a personal favorite. Track 15, Good Things. Man, this song is so much fun. I love the instrumental, and the lyrics kind of wrap up the themes of leaving Victory. Although, like I keep saying, this could just be a normal breakup song, but I think the line, "Good things don't end, they end badly," could be seen as, we might have put our best work out here and it was hell doing so. Either way, I love this song, so let's see what's up next. The actual final track of the album, same book but never the same page. I do really like this one, although I probably would have swapped this and Good Things on the track listing. It has that similar theme of being hurt and exploited, which again I think could be about Victory, but there's no confirmation that it's about the label that I'm aware of. Also, the line, "You're just a notch in the wall that made me," is such a bar, and also that final breakdown is awesome. It's a good track, but I don't know if I would have made it the final track on the album. And with all that said, that was Common Courtesy. Day to Remember's Common Courtesy is a blast from start to finish. It is everything I love about this band and then some. It's fun, it's loud, it's in your face, and in some cases it hits you really hard in the feels. While I definitely think that some tracks are better than others and the sound bites can be a little much at times, it doesn't change this fact. Take two. It doesn't change the fact that this album is an incredible conclusion to A Day to Remember's prime. With all that being said, I would give Common Courtesy an 8.5 out of 10. If you haven't listened to it, I'd highly recommend you check it out. Well, that wraps up the last episode of For the Record. I want to thank Brian Merritt and KXMS for letting me do this show. It's been such a blast. And I don't know if this is the last episode for good, but it's definitely going to be the last episode for now. And I might bring this show back in the future, but who knows. Regardless, it's been a fun ride, and I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great night.